All right, hello everyone. Paul Tranny here, and gonna dive into some what I'm calling gritty graphic design. Just some cool graphic design, kind of grungy. That's what I think of. I think it looks like a grunge album, but definitely I think you'll think it's pretty cool. Is my hope. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Feel free to chime in wherever this beautiful day might find you. Yeah, would love to hear from you. So feel free, chime in at any point. And again, Paul Tranny, going from mobile to desktop. I'll show you what I'm working on, and then also, on desktop. Once I'm there, going to be doing a couple of different ways of doing things across, say, Photoshop and Illustrator. So, if you're game, I say we get this party started. Hello, Zach. Good to have you here. And give me a second. I just need to plug this in, which I'm doing right now, so you can see all this glory. But again, hello, Paulina Duran. I need to talk to you because I am going to Guadalajara, Mexico. I'm actually going to be there next week, and I've been meaning to contact you. But I will be there on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, kind of like that. And it would be nice to see you. Going for Talent Land and presenting and doing some different things. So with that being said, let's see what magic we can get into as I switch gears. You can see a couple things going on here. A lot of crazy stuff. I get it. We're going to go launch QuickTime. And you'll probably see my front camera in a second. But what I'm going to switch to is I'm going to switch to my iPad. Could be my iPhone as well. This is my green screen. Here's my iPad as well. Because this is where I'm going to start, sort of creating this texture, just so you know. Hello, Chea Prawn from Thailand. Good to have you here. So again, welcome. Let me move this out of the way. You can see a couple new apps that we're actually working on, just so you know. Can't really show them, but we have something called Project Gemini. We have Arrow. We have Photoshop that's coming to the iPads. I've been working on that, but I've been actually using a lot of these other apps as well. So using whatever is best for the job. So Lucas, good to have you here. Hello, Lucas. Dana Pride always makes me smile. Hello, Alessio from Tuscany. Fantastic. Lucas. All right, let's dive into this. So I'm going to just I'm going to go with like kind of capturing content, right? So first off, I could use Adobe Illustrator Draw. You can see my poor boss's face right there. But right in here, we can obviously create our any drawing that we want. So from here, I'd kind of jump in, maybe select a brush, start to draw something that looks like a skull, for instance. Okay, just keeping this simple for the sake of this stream. That's what I would do, something like that. There's our skull, right? We know the jaw comes down like that. And this is great. I just kind of drew this, of course, on the fly. From there, I can go ahead and sync this to my desktop, right? You probably already know that, okay? But I'm going to go beyond that because actually what I could do is I could use a ton of resources out there. So I could use something like Adobe Capture. So this is what I've actually been doing when I say even like grungy, for instance. But I can go in and I can create a couple different things. Patterns, brushes, a number of things. Going into brushes, rather than creating something from scratch, you can actually just like grab a photo. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a photo in here, if I have one. Ooh, let's get this. Butterfly. Beautiful butterfly, right? So this is nice. Andrew Kavanaugh in the house. Good to have you, buddy. So here you have, again, just a very clean graphic, right? This is what I would use. I could try creating this. I could potentially do it on the desktop as well. Excuse me. But right here, this is already what I have squared away, right? So we have a number of styles of brushes that we can do. Oftentimes, you'll have this stretch effect. So let me just go in the size, just so you can see what's happening. It's like stretching this butterfly. What I want to do is I want to go into style, and yeah, I can do the daisy chain, all sorts of things, mirror ribbons. I'm going to go down here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to scatter wide. That's what I like. Go into my settings, cranking that up. You can see what's happening is creating like all of those butterflies, as we can see, right? Super easy. I might kind of crank that down. The cool thing is all of these settings I can change later. So from there, I'm just going to hit save. Right, it saved it. I'm going to hit X. I'm going to go right here, and you can see here's brush 51 that I'm going to rename to what it should be called, by the way, Andrew, is, have you ever seen that? Flutterby. It's like the names of animals and what they actually should be called. This is a case where really we should call butterfly Flutterby, at least in English. Just so you know what I'm drawing with, just using Apple Pencil First Edition. So I've created that brush, right? That's not a problem. Shapes, when I'm creating these grungy textures, doing kind of the same thing, kind of grabbing from a photo, and I'm going to show you how much more control I have in here. Right, and this is actually something I went through. This is actually a watercolor painting, so it's already kind of grungy, by the way. How was this created? I can't really show you, but this is coming soon. Project Gemini. So that's what I used to create it. And again, can't really show this just yet. So let's get back into Capture. Here's my image, opening that up, and what was once a watercolor color, I want to make this more grungy, as you can see here in a second. So this is what I like. By the way, Dana, since I see your name right there. Oh, that's so funny, Dana. Are you serious? Your grandma called them flutterbys when she was a girl, like 100 years ago. Let's bring that back. Hashtag make butterfly for flutterby. Okay, that works. But so this is something you can't do, Dana, is this sort of control. I don't have this control in Photoshop or Illustrator, at least like not this easily. Like, look at this. I'm going to get this sort of range of grunginess to my liking as I drag this up kind of near the top. Grab more darks or grab lighter information. So here I'm going to go right about there. That looks pretty good. Getting as much detail as I want, hitting that check, and yes. So yeah, Paulina, are you going to be in town next week? Like, let me know. So yes, now for concerning buying an Apple Pencil, go for it. Your chances are for drawing digitally, it's going to be a Wacom tablet of sorts. It's going to be Apple Pencil and iPad. So those are the two directions you can go. I think it's really natural and easy to work with iPad. So coming in here, that looks pretty good. I think everything looks pretty good. I'm gonna click on smooth. When I go to smooth, smoothing is actually turned off. If I turn it on, it's going to smooth it all out. But since I'm going for this grungy texture, by the way, when I smooth this out, watch, I'll just show you. Again, you may or may not be aware of Capture. Capture's been around a while, so you should kind of be aware of it. But look at these smooth lines that I get. So if I'm going for this type of look, I have this sort of flexibility. Consider just selecting, going to, what is it? Edit, down to line, and going to simplify. That's essentially what's happening there. In Illustrator, basically, is what I'm saying. So let's just save that. Let's save our skeleton. Hamza in the house. Good to have you here, Hamza. Right on. Thanks so much for joining me. There's 1,000 other things I could do. You can see I've outlined that. I've grabbed these wings, by the way. These are now vector as well. I got my cool vector wings made from real photographs. So give me that grungy look, and then let's continue on our way. I could make more, like, splat textures and different things using Photoshop Sketch, right? And I can also do this in Photoshop, but also Photoshop Sketch just gives me that opportunity with these brushes. Like if I select this watercolor brush, this one right here, you know, I get this sort of nice wash. Undo that a couple times. Going back in here, I'm just going to select a blue, because I actually want to go to a nice blue to different color. Come on. There we go. Into this like purple color or whatever, right? And we can see it kind of blur through. Let's make this darker. Again, let's go to the color picker, bringing that down. You get the idea. I'm just creating something kind of cool in this case to build out for my design. Let's undo that. Oh, that's horrible. Sorry. Did you crank that up? Maybe I'll do a couple different layers. Let's do a new sketch layer. You know, you get the idea. Okay, the cool thing is I have this done. I could use 1,000 brushes right in here, okay? So going in here, hit plus. And guess what? I have a number of brushes, and I can even go with this splatter punk. This is a splatter punk style over the top of that. But let's undo that because I'm going to put things on different layers. So I'm creating all my graphics, all my textures, all that fun stuff on my iPad in this case. From there, we're going to send this to Photoshop. And watch, it's going to pop up on every single one of my 3 screens right here. Yes, now by the way, it is so much fun. I will say you do need to get something else. If you're considering like Apple Pencil and iPad, that sort of thing, just make sure you get a screen protector that has some grit to it. Gives it some drag, because otherwise you really are drawing on glass. I recently ordered Paper-like. It's called Paper-like, and it's like out of Germany or I don't know, somewhere in Europe. And that supposedly gives you the best quality when it comes to looking like paper. Or excuse me, feeling like paper. Let's move that down. And there's my final. I'm still working on it. Hello. I knew that would happen. And then it will pop up over here. The important thing is all my graphics are in here. Let's open this up. Let's forget this. This is just my little teaser graphic. We're going to make this super easy to make, right? What do? We grab our graphics, as you can see. Right in here. Let's grab these images, these vector images, right? Just like that, as expected. Let me move this to the side. Let me know if you have questions. Zorro, good to have you here. Yes, exactly. So, Danny, you're right. The colors blend like real watercolors, and it's awfully nice. So, Project Gemini will be similar. All right, so now I have my sort of grunge graphics I can bring in and have some fun with, shall we? Boom. Skeleton in Photoshop. Guess what? Can I bring these into Illustrator? Of course I can. I'm positioning those wings. These are actually just birds' wings. I'm going to position them right over the shoulders. And since these are both vector, by the way, I can change them all I want. Another thing I could do is I could actually import them as vector graphics. But what I want to do is add an additional layer, hit B for brush, and start to paint through this, painting white. See, that's what I'm doing right there. Give me 1 second as I change this. Taking that down. Just need to paint right over this part right here. And since I'm doing a grungy like design style, I don't have to be perfect. It's probably the most forgiving of really any style, if you ask me. But there's the rib cage, as you can see. Thank you, Paulina. Contact me later. I'll just like hit you, or just hit me up through Facebook or whatever. Let's talk about Talentland. I don't know if you can go. I don't know if Oracle, I don't know what the deal is. They're probably represented there, I'm sure. I just got confirmation a little bit ago. And it's good because I don't have to change any of my flights. So there we go. Adding that. We got it done. It's really straightforward as we map this out, right? Let's add a cool texture to the background. What do? Come down here. Click right in here. Let's add sort of a pattern, okay? Sure enough, baked in to Photoshop. Yes, we could add paper, right? All this sort of grungy stuff is kind of cool. I actually kind of opted for more of a pattern, right? So I went in here and picked this because I really like those dots. And that's what I'm going to use as the background. So there they are. There's the dots. Everything's looking pretty cool. All right, let me know if you have questions. Sorry this is in the way. Photoshop popped up everywhere on all my screens, and I knew that was going to happen. Cool. Fantastic. Going in here, painting a little bit more. Ending up with this sort of look. There we go. So far, so good, right? Ton of graphics are available. I don't know if you're aware of all the graphics available as part of like Creative Cloud, but there are quite a few. Right? Let me show you some. Like the crown, I want to put a cool crown on this guy's head. We'll go into Illustrator. Here again, I started playing with this earlier, but here's that same, as you can see, that same skeleton brought in. Just so you know, it's vector. Yes, I can change the color, right? I can even do that trippy look, right? Move that over, change the color of this one to sort of a red. Now I'm messing with your eyes. You take two complementary colors, shift one to the side, and you get this trippy look, right? But that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you something like the Regal Vector Pack, for instance. Go to Window, down to symbol libraries right in here, and we have this Regal Vector Pack. So don't forget about these. There's also this Grime. Let me get back in there. A Grime Vector Pack as well. So Regal's already open. I'm going to add Grime Vector Pack. These are just vector graphics that you may or may not be aware of that have been in good old Illustrator for a while. Right in here, they have some wings, but I want to use my own. I'm going to go with this crown right here, right? Just bring that out. There it is, and let's make sure it's in my CC library. Dana, I don't think I made the dots for the background, to be honest with you. I don't think I did it. If I did, it was a while ago. First off, if I did it, I think I would have a lot more patterns, so I think it's actually baked in, okay? But they're super easy to make patterns, by the way. It's just a matter of selecting an area and then going to Edit, Define Pattern. You wish it was harder, and it's not. I hope one day that we do give out a lot more of these patterns and things. So there's one with all the skulls. You get the idea. All the skulls. But we're getting there with Creative Cloud libraries and Adobe Stock. All right, so have that done. I haven't even got into the cool part yet. Let's grab that crown, bring it in. Let's copy it. Check this out. I can copy this. Once I paste it in, it's going to say, hey, you want to bring it in as a smart object? Smart object? Yes, add it to my current library as well. Saludos desde Nicaragua. Jesalim Ramirez. Saludos to you from Denver, Colorado. There we are, as you can see. You get the idea. Genial. You like that, Jose? Genial. Love it. That means cool. All right. And I think this is a very, like, I don't know, what style is this? I just call it a grime, just a grunge vector style. But let me take a step back and let me show you the brushes that I made. Remember I made that brush? We'll switch to my brush. We'll go over here to my library. And guess what? That brush that I made is right down here. Here's my butterfly brush. In fact, you know, I don't know if that's one, and that's one. I wonder if it actually put it in my miscellaneous. But look at all these brushes. You're wondering why some are highlighted and some aren't? There we go. We called it Flutterby. It's this one. I'm going to move it into my demo library so I can keep everything together. Right down here, butterfly brush. That's the initial one I made. Now I'm going to select Flutterby. I'm going to create a new layer. I can click. Let's actually select a color, for instance. But as I click, you can see the number of butterflies that kind of start coming through. Okay, you get the idea. Let's have some more fun with these brushes. Just because I made them on mobile doesn't mean I can't just mess with them all sorts of ways. In fact, I'll make the background color like a magenta. Go into color dynamics, and I'm going to have it jitter between the foreground and the background and different levels of that hue. But that's what I have now. I hate it when I do that. Okay, there we go. There's the, and by the way, I'm getting all that detail of that, look, of that butterfly that I've captured. Remember, it's not going to do it perfect because I have it set to scatter, okay? Let's take all this, delete. Let's turn that off. Let's try this again right over here. And by the way, I'm going to actually change the scattering as well. I'm going to scatter it even more, and we get a little preview right down there. But now that I'm working on desktop, I can use that, and now we have those a fun texture of sorts like that, as you can see. Cool. Felicia in the house. Good to see you as well. Here's some other things just to get you excited about what the future holds. Here's something else I painted. Painted this a little bit ago. Trying to paint every day. Here's a heart. Okay, this was created on mobile as well. Thought it'd be really cool to put this heart in there. What do? We take this, scale it down. Let's put it right in this beating person's chest, right in here. Maybe we'll make it a little bit larger than it needs to be, and I'm going to get kind of tricky on you. Because I'm actually going to make that a selection, turn that selection into a mask that's actually on top of that heart, and then I'm going to move that, ready, dot, dot, dot. I just created lines without sort of removing, without, you know, obscuring the heart too much was my goal. Let's add a little hue and saturation. Let's bring it up. I don't know, I'm just kind of working with this, so. And hopefully you like it. We've been going for about 22 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up soon. Let's increase the saturation. And I'm just creating a nice depth for that. Just, I don't know, something so it's just a little bit easier to see like that for this crazy, you know, grunge texture design that I'm working through. Okay. I notice the colors need to match, so I'm going to shy away from that magenta and actually add red to make the design a little bit more unified. Lastly, I'm going to jump in. Maybe I'll grab like a burst. I have this cool burst. Any grungy design needs like a cool burst type thing. By the way, you want to know how to make a cool burst? Can I show you this? I've shown this before, but hopefully it interests you. So, creating an ellipse. Do you know about this, Felicia and Jose and Dana? Taking this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these two, boop. This line is actually going to have, for its stroke, it's going to have a dashed line. So make it like 10 and 10, 10, 10. I don't know, there's like 1,000 different ways we can do this. But if I increase the stroke size, by the way, let's make these straight, like a lot, we start to get a burst that I want. So this might be what I want to use for my burst. 150, something like that. Copying it, bringing it in here, pasting it in as a, let's try this as a shape layer. Let's see, oh, dang, I knew that was going to happen. Pasting it in as a smart object, sure. And there we have that nice little burst, as we can see. Cool. It's turning into a mess, but hopefully you like it. Yes! I think the blend tool is in order, by the way. Because there's a lot going on here, and I wanted it to be grungy, but I think making something simple is actually just much harder than anything else. I think I actually would not have those butterflies. I'd have something like this, and I would probably do an overlay of red, something like that. That's kind of the look that I would go for in this case. Cool. Yeah, kind of strangely edgy. This is the perfect, like, I don't know, it's like Sum 41. Well, no, who is it? What band would this be? Avenged Sevenfold. That's what I got. We just made an Avenged Sevenfold album cover or something. So hopefully you like it. I think it's fun playing around. And yeah, that's the whole goal. Good call, Anel. It's all about, honestly, it's all about kind of removing and cleaning up once you have a big mess in there. Like it's just like, who Van Gogh said is, was it Van Gogh or was it Van Gogh said that, or I don't know, Antoine de Exupéry? I don't know if that's how I say his name, but basically it's not when there's nothing more to add, but there's nothing left to take away. But this is when I start taking away things, like simplifying this crown a little bit, right? And again, that's just one person's opinion. All right, cool. I'd say I'm done. Thank you so much for watching, Felicia. Hopefully you like it. This is the new Avenged Sevenfold album. That's right. I got to think a name for it. I was actually going to go through and add some Latin to it. Kind of don't have time right now, but I'm seriously tempted to. But I think that's for another day as I add it. And maybe it will be the last thing I do, I promise. And again, thanks for joining me. Hopefully everybody's having a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday. As I would probably arc this like that. And then also give it a stroke. Ultimately, I'd put it on white, but for the sake of time, for the stroke, I would make it white. And then make it a lot smaller on the outside. There we are. There's your Latin. You get the idea. I think this actually says, what does it say? Alas, the fleeting years slip by. Wow, things got really deep really fast up in here. Was not planning on that, but it got deep. Wow. Okay, you get the idea. Done, done. Thank you so much. Oh, Dana, you're too kind, man. The world needs more Danas. And Felicias, by the way. And, of course, Paulina's and Anel. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Zach. Oh, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Hopefully, thank you so much, Zach said. It's Antoine de Saint-Exupéry said, you know, it's done when there's not more to add, but there's not anything left to take away. So still more to take away from this. But again, I only went for about 30 minutes. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Have a beautiful day. Don't forget, call your mom. Give somebody a hug today. They probably need it. The world needs more hugs, huh? All right, everyone. Have a beautiful day, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.